Well, at first it was very difficult because to always be associated to someone, you start losing yourself and who you are. And people always wanted to know, and still do actually, want to know about him. And I do understand it a lot better now than I did, let's say, when I was younger.
Step behind the curtain as Priscilla Presley reveals the secret of her challenging life besides the king of rock and roll, Elvis. In this video, you'll descend into the complexities of Elvis and Priscilla's relationship, discovering the challenges in their glamorous public lives. Let's reveal the lesser known reality behind the flashy lights and iconic music. In the dramatic setting of Bad Nauheim, Germany, a meeting occurred that would forever change the lives of two people and the landscape of popular culture. The year was 1959, and Elvis Presley, already a global sensation as the king of rock and roll, served in the U.S. Army. Far from the American shores, among the disciplined routines of military life, Elvis's path crossed with that of a young Priscilla Bellew. At just 14 years old, Priscilla was living in Germany due to her stepfather's Air Force career. This encounter was not just incredible, it was extraordinary. The meeting was arranged through a mutual acquaintance, and despite the vast differences in their ages and lives, there was an immediate connection. Elvis, 24, was taken by Priscilla's beauty and poise, characteristics that belied her young age. For Priscilla, the allure of Elvis was undeniable. He was a man who epitomized charisma and success, a stark contrast to the ordinary bullies she knew. But what began as a fairy tale soon unfolded into a complex web of emotions and expectations. Elvis's life in Germany was a brief escape from the frenzy of his fame in America. He could walk around relatively undisturbed, a luxury becoming increasingly rare back home. For Priscilla, their time together was a whirlwind introduction to a world of glamour and adult complexities. Elvis introduced her to nightclubs, late night gatherings, and the vibrant life of a celebrity, experiences that were both exhilarating and overwhelming for a teenager. Their relationship developed in the shadow of Elvis's celebrity status. He was, after all, not just a man, but an icon, and his every move was watched and scrutinized. This added a layer of intensity and scrutiny to their budding relationship. Priscilla had to navigate this new terrain under the watchful eyes of Elvis's entourage and her parents, who were understandably concerned about their young daughter spending time with one of the world's most famous men. Despite these challenges, the bond between Elvis and Priscilla grew. They shared a love for music and a longing for normality in their extraordinary worlds. Elvis saw in Priscilla a confidant who seemed unimpressed by his fame. For Priscilla, Elvis represented a figure of stability and excitement, an irresistibly captivating combination. They would sit up late into the night talking about their hopes and dreams, with Elvis often playing songs he hoped to record in the future. However, the idyllic moments were interspersed with the realities of their significant age difference and Elvis's impending return to America. Questions loomed about the future of their relationship. Could it survive the transition back to Elvis's life as a superstar in the US? Would the fairy tale end once the army uniform was put away? How did a teenage Priscilla manage with the overwhelming presence of Elvis? Once Priscilla moved to Graceland to live with Elvis in Memphis, her life entered a realm where the spotlight was unrelenting and the pressure to meet impossible expectations became the norm. As the king of rock and roll's girlfriend, she was expected to reflect a certain image that aligned with Elvis's carefully crafted public persona. This meant that Priscilla, still in her teens, faced immense pressure to look and behave perfectly at all times. Elvis had a particular vision for how Priscilla should appear. He favored her long, dark hair and often asked her to apply makeup in a way that accentuated her youth and beauty. Her wardrobe was closely curated, with Elvis sometimes choosing her outfits. These standards created a rigid mold that she felt compelled to fit into, and any deviation was met with disappointment or gentle but insistent correction. While Priscilla embraced this glamorous role with grace and devotion, it didn't come without a toll. The expectations of her appearance and behavior were overwhelming. She spent countless hours perfecting her look, from meticulously applying eyeliner to selecting the right dresses that would meet Elvis's approval. Even though she felt immense pressure to conform, she loved Elvis and wanted to be the perfect partner. In addition to maintaining her appearance, she was also expected to be supportive and understanding of Elvis's lifestyle, which included a grueling schedule and often put their relationship under strain. She found herself isolated at Graceland, with few people to confide in as Elvis's entourage formed a protective barrier around him. Priscilla struggled to assert her identity while living under Elvis's shadow. She often felt like she was losing herself in the persona that had been crafted for her. The conflict between the image she presented to the public and her true feelings created a sense of inner turmoil that she kept hidden. Her desires and ambitions were often set aside to maintain harmony with Elvis's expectations. While she loved the excitement of being part of Elvis's world, the cost was high. She became increasingly anxious and concerned about living up to the image he envisioned. The need to always appear flawless in public and private was exhausting and left her feeling disconnected from her true self. Despite the pressures and challenges, Priscilla remained resilient and determined to maintain the relationship. She adapted her behavior and appearance to suit Elvis's desires, but this came at a personal cost. The expectations for perfection eventually took a toll on her mental health, making her question her identity and the true nature of their relationship. Find the extreme measures Elvis took to maintain his ideal image of Priscilla. You'll be shocked at the lengths he went to ensure she never wandered from his vision. Elvis and Priscilla's relationship unfolded under intense public scrutiny. The media fixated on them as an ideal couple. Elvis, the beloved king of rock and roll, and Priscilla, the picture-perfect partner who exuded poise and elegance. From the moment they stepped out together, they were constantly photographed, and every aspect of their relationship became fodder for headlines. Priscilla's every move was watched, and any deviation from perfection was magnified by the media. Reporters wanted a glimpse into their personal lives, and rumors mixed, often distorting the truth. These relentless invasions added immense pressure to the already challenging dynamics of their relationship. Privacy was a luxury they could seldom afford. Public expectations only fueled the stress. They were expected to epitomize love and loyalty, and any perceived fracture in their relationship would have triggered a media frenzy. The weight of these expectations made it challenging to address personal issues privately or seek outside help when their relationship began to fray. Priscilla felt a strong obligation to support the beginning of a perfect couple, even when their reality was far different. Life under the spotlight also brought other challenges. Priscilla felt isolated and cut off from family and friends as she navigated the social circles of Graceland. Elvis's demanding career often left her alone at home, longing for companionship. Meanwhile, Elvis struggled with his burdens of fame, which led to mood swings, erratic behavior, and dependency on prescription medications. These issues only compounded their struggles as a couple. The media painted their love story as glamorous and idyllic, but this only deepened the contrast between the public image and the private reality. The constant need to project a perfect image puts a strain on their relationship, making it difficult to address personal challenges or communicate openly. While Priscilla was proud to stand beside one of the world's most famous men, she found herself torn between the demands of maintaining a public image and the need to be authentic. She felt the tension between living her own life and meeting the expectations of being Elvis's partner. The discrepancy between the public persona and the private struggles left Priscilla increasingly insecure and disconnected. Through it all, Priscilla remained resilient, doing her best to support Elvis and uphold their image. However, as their lives remained under the microscope, it became clear that the strain of fame was eroding their bond. What was the cost of fame in their marriage? Behind the confident stage persona of the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley wrestled with profound insecurities and phobias that few were aware of. His most prominent fear was being alone, which stemmed from childhood traumas and the pressures of stardom. He rarely felt secure, and this need for constant companionship influenced many aspects of his life, including his relationship with Priscilla. Elvis often surrounded himself with a large entourage known as the Memphis Mafia and relied on their presence to fend off his fears of loneliness. His home, Graceland, was always bustling with people, but this constant activity only masked his deeper insecurities. Priscilla was one of the few who saw his struggle firsthand. She observed how his anxieties would surface during quiet moments and how his intense need for support made him reliant on others. His fears weren't limited to loneliness. Elvis was also plagued by a strong phobia of germs, which made him extremely meticulous about hygiene and health. This fear sometimes caused him to isolate himself further, and he would refuse to meet fans or interact closely with strangers. Priscilla noticed how these phobias impacted his behavior and worsened his sense of isolation, even when surrounded by adoring fans. These insecurities bled into their relationship. Elvis expected Priscilla to conform to his ideal of perfection, reinforcing her insecurities and eroding her sense of self. His erratic behavior, mood swings, and growing dependency on medication added further strain. Priscilla tried to reassure him but felt increasingly powerless as Elvis's inner turmoil grew. At times, Elvis's fears made it difficult for him to fully trust those closest to him. He struggled with anxiety and self doubt, which made it challenging for him to seek support. Instead, he resorted to controlling behaviors and self medication. This not only affected his health, but also placed Priscilla in an impossible position as she tried to help him navigate these challenges. Despite his struggles, Elvis remained committed to his career and his fans. His onstage charisma and showmanship rarely faltered, giving the impression of an unshakable star. But behind the scenes, his anxieties and phobias had a lasting impact on his life and relationships. Next, we explore the darker side of Elvis's personality that few knew about, revealing the internal battles that shaped his behavior and ultimately affected those around him. Elvis Presley's charming personality and extraordinary fame meant he was constantly surrounded by admirers both on and off stage. However, his flirtatious nature and frequent absences led to rumors and realities of infidelity. Priscilla found herself in an uncomfortable position trying to maintain her composure in the face of these rumors while striving to keep their relationship intact. From the early days of their relationship, Priscilla had to contend with Elvis's overwhelming appeal to other women. He thrived on the attention he received from his female fans, which only intensified the more famous he became. For Priscilla, his constant interactions with admirers were challenging. Elvis's need for affection often led him to form relationships with other women, which placed immense emotional strain on Priscilla. Despite their apparent closeness, Elvis's behavior was driven by deep-seated insecurities. His infidelity was often a reflection of his desire for validation and reassurance, but it also bred jealousy. He couldn't bear the thought of Priscilla being with anyone else. His possessiveness became evident in the roles he imposed on her, dictating her appearance, behavior, and social circle. While Elvis indulged in his extramarital relationships, he expected Priscilla to remain loyal and reserved. The pressures of living up to Elvis's expectations took a toll on Priscilla. She felt increasingly isolated, caught between her role as the supportive partner and her personal needs. Despite Elvis's infidelity, Priscilla remained faithful, but the emotional burden of her husband's actions left her feeling unappreciated and misunderstood. Her confidence was chipped away as she struggled to reconcile the public image of their relationship with the reality behind closed doors. Eventually, the strain became unbearable. Priscilla found herself seeking solace and understanding outside of their marriage. She formed a close relationship with Mike Stone, a karate instructor, who offered her the support and companionship she craved. When Elvis learned of this, his jealousy turned into rage. He struggled to come to terms with Priscilla's decision to leave, realizing too late that his behavior had pushed her away. In the end, Priscilla and Elvis parted ways, but their separation was far from simple. They maintained a bond through their daughter, Lisa Marie, and Priscilla remained a key figure in Elvis's life until his death. While infidelity and jealousy strained their relationship, they still cared deeply for each other. But how did Priscilla feel during these tough times? The birth of Lisa Marie Presley in February 1968 marked a new chapter in the lives of Elvis and Priscilla. They were now parents to a baby girl who instantly became the center of their world. Elvis, known for his charm and generosity, was thrilled by the idea of having a daughter. The arrival of Lisa Marie brought immense joy to their household, but also highlighted the underlying challenges that their marriage faced. Elvis, a proud father, was often seen doting over his newborn. He delighted in buying her lavish gifts and spoiling her with attention. He took an active interest in her early development, singing lullabies and enjoying playful moments with her. Despite his often busy schedule, he made sure to carve out quality time for Lisa Marie, creating memories that she would cherish forever. However, his dedication as a father was also coupled with his unpredictable lifestyle. His career obligations, frequent travel, and personal struggles sometimes kept him away from home for long periods, leaving Priscilla to handle the daily responsibilities of raising Lisa Marie. She took on the role of a primary caregiver, balancing her obligations as a wife with those of a new mother. The demands of motherhood also made Priscilla realize the limitations imposed on her own life due to Elvis's expectations. Elvis's possessiveness and traditional views on family life meant he wanted Priscilla to focus primarily on being a mother and wife. He had clear ideas about how she should behave and present herself. Yet, Priscilla felt a growing desire for personal independence and fulfillment outside her role at Graceland. She wanted to find her own identity and career path while raising her daughter. The birth of Lisa Marie added another layer to their already complex relationship. On one hand, parenthood brought them moments of unity and purpose. They shared the common goal of providing their daughter with a loving home. On the other hand, the new responsibilities and evolving dynamics also exposed the cracks in their marriage. Priscilla felt trapped in the expectations placed upon her, and Elvis's inability to offer the emotional support she needed led to further strain. While Lisa Marie remained a beloved figure in both of their lives, she couldn't bridge the growing divide between her parents. Elvis's career demands and personal issues, coupled with Priscilla's longing for independence, eventually led to their separation. Witness how the arrival of their daughter both challenged and changed their lives, and how parenting couldn't ultimately save their marriage. Next, we explore Priscilla's decision to step out of Elvis's shadow. By the early 1970s, the challenges in Elvis and Priscilla's marriage had become increasingly difficult to ignore. While Priscilla struggled with her own identity and growing frustrations within the relationship, Elvis's health was deteriorating due to his addiction to prescription medications. The physical and emotional toll of his grueling career took its hold, casting a shadow over their marriage. Elvis's escalating dependence on prescription drugs was no secret to Priscilla. She saw the pills piling up and noticed his increasing lethargy and erratic behavior. As his addiction worsened, he became more isolated and prone to mood swings, making it harder for Priscilla to connect with him. Despite her love and support, she struggled to reach through the haze that clouded his mind. The pressures of being a global superstar weighed heavily on Elvis. He was constantly in demand, moving from concert to concert and working tirelessly to meet the expectations of his fans and the industry. These relentless demands, combined with the pressure to maintain his king of rock and roll image, pushed him deeper into the abyss of addiction. Priscilla felt helpless as she witnessed the man she had once known and loved gradually fade away. The tender moments they shared became fewer as Elvis retreated into a world of pills and self-doubt. His changing behavior created an emotional chasm that neither could bridge, and the trust between them began to erode. Their relationship, once filled with passion and promise, now stood on shaky ground. Elvis's physical health also declined as a result of his substance abuse. He gained weight and his energy levels plummeted, making it difficult for him to maintain his iconic stage presence. His health issues added another layer of complexity to their strained marriage, and Priscilla increasingly felt burdened with the responsibility of caring for both Elvis and their daughter. The environment at Graceland became increasingly toxic as Elvis surrounded himself with a circle of friends and associates who enabled his destructive habits. Priscilla felt like an outsider in her own home, isolated and unable to break through the tight-knit group that shielded Elvis from reality. Eventually, Priscilla decided that she could no longer remain in the marriage. The person she once loved had transformed into a stranger, and the relationship had become a source of pain rather than joy. In 1973, she filed for divorce, ending their tumultuous journey together. As we near the end of their story together, see what ultimately led to their separation and how Priscilla managed to find her path forward. The final interactions between Elvis and Priscilla were poignant and reflective of the deep bond they shared despite their separation. In the years following their divorce, they maintained a relationship built on mutual respect and shared parenthood. Their final conversation, just before Elvis's untimely death in 1977, highlighted their enduring connection. Elvis, in his last days, reached out to Priscilla over the phone. They spoke about their daughter, Lisa Marie, and reminisced. Despite the distance in years, the affection in their voice was apparent. Elvis expressed regrets and shared his hopes for the future, hopes that sadly he would never see realized. This conversation was heartfelt and gave both a sense of closure, though they were unaware it would be their last. Priscilla was devastated by Elvis's sudden death. It was a profound loss, not just to the world of music, but to her personally. Despite their differences and the complexities of their past relationship, she loved the moments they had shared. As the world grieved the king of rock and roll, Priscilla wrestled with a personal grief that was both deep and private. In the aftermath of Elvis's passing, Priscilla took on a key role in preserving his legacy. She became deeply involved in the management of Graceland, turning it into a museum and a lasting tribute to Elvis's life and career. Her efforts ensured that fans around the world could continue to connect with Elvis and his music. Priscilla worked tirelessly to keep his memory alive, curating exhibitions and overseeing the release of post-mortem albums. Priscilla also shared her side of the story in her memoir, which offered insights into their life together and the challenges they faced. Her book helped humanize Elvis, presenting him not just as a cultural icon, but as a man with struggles and triumphs. Through her writing and interviews, Priscilla provided a deeper understanding of Elvis, contributing to a more nuanced appreciation of his impact on music and popular culture. Beyond Graceland, Priscilla became an advocate for substance abuse awareness, drawing from her experiences with Elvis. She spoke openly about the dangers of addiction and the need for support and understanding for those struggling. Her advocacy work added another layer to her efforts to honor Elvis's memory by addressing an issue that had significantly impacted their lives. Today, Priscilla continues to be a guardian of Elvis's estate, ensuring that his artistic legacy remains vibrant and relevant. She has managed to find strength in adversity, turning her trials into an opportunity to celebrate Elvis's life and help others. Priscilla Presley's direct revelations offer an affecting glance into the hidden struggles and personal costs behind an iconic couple's life. They remind us that fame often hides deep challenges. If you found this behind the scenes look at Elvis and Priscilla's life enlightening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more untold stories from the lives of the famous. Share your thoughts in the comments below.